Unfortunately, in hip-hop, there are a lot of artists who do not live long enough to have a fruitful career. Whether that is death due to drugs, violence, or booming themselves in certain scenarios. There are always conversations about who would have changed hip-hop if they were still alive. I believe there are multiple answers to this question, but I will be focusing on 3 artists. The trio being speakerknockerz, Lil Snoop, and youngpappy. I know these may be controversial and some of you will pick other rappers, but let me cook. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and comment. Let's talk about speakerknockerz. speakerknockerz was a rapper who was going to take over the scene. With his most popular song being Lonely in the Rico Story trilogy, he was on the rise. speakerknockerz, aka Derek McAllister Jr., was born in Bronx, New York on November 6, 1994. speakerknockerz only released 2 mixtapes being Married to the Money and Finesse Father. Okay, this is honestly surprising, but speakerknockerz has over 1 million Spotify monthly listeners. Mind you, he's been gone for over a decade and is still getting millions of plays. One of the early rappers who made a more melodic rap style. Lonely was a song that completely took over YouTube, with one of the most popular lines being, "Ha ha ha ha, you mad or nah?" It was something that stuck out. While there are plenty of artists who have an art of storytelling, speakerknockerz told a very vibrant story. With Rico's Story being a trilogy about Rico and Pedro's crazy life, it was a hit. There were also fun songs that speakerknockerz made. A couple of those songs are Freak Ho and Money. A very versatile artist who was taken away from us way too soon. In my opinion, this was during the era of rap where melodic rap was becoming more popular. Unfortunately, on March 6, 2014, speakerknockerz was found dead in his garage. At first, people suspected there was foul play involved, but through police investigation, that was proven incorrect. His death was ruled as a heart attack, and in 2023, his mother came out and said he passed due to carbon monoxide poisoning. This occurred because he was running his car in a closed garage. More speculation was that this was a suicide based on a breakup that he was going through. There were 2 albums released after his death, and people were not happy about the album that came out in 2024. The GOAT album, which came out, was nothing but instrumentals that speakerknockerz had produced. People were not happy because it felt like the label was just milking speakerknockerz's name. May he rest in peace. Let's talk about one of the greatest freestylers, Lil Snoop. Lil Snoop is a rapper who still impresses me to this day. Lil Snoop, who was one of Meek Mill's proteges, was known throughout hip-hop as one of the best freestylers at the time. There is a very popular freestyle on YouTube where Lil Snoop freestyles for over 6 minutes. In the video, you can see how proud Meek Mill was of him. Lil Snoop, aka Darren Lakeith Ross, born on June 13, 1995, had the potential to change hip-hop and possibly the scope of it. The artist from Jonesboro, Louisiana, signed to Dream Chasers and was soon going to blow up. In 2012, Lil Snoop released 16 and Running, the mixtape, which was popular on My Mixtape and Spinrilla. According to Meek Mill, on his tour, he was approached by a young Snoop who gave him a demo of his tape and he liked it. Soon, Snoop popped up in Philly and that was the beginning of their relationship. In April 2013, Snoop released R&IC, which was the last project he made when he was alive. The mixtape had features from Currency, Big Papa, Meek Mill, etc., and it made its way through the mixtape era. However, after his death, 2 albums were released, being R&IC 2 and 16 and Running Resurrected, with a couple of different features. Now you may be asking, Bugs, do you really believe that Lil Snoop could have changed rap? Yes, I do. The reason why I believe that is because he had mastered the art of freestyling, which is not done well in young rappers. At the time of Lil Snoop's rise, young rappers were going down the auto-tune and Travis Scott style. Lil Snoop, who was known for his freestyles, would have branched him a new avenue. Not in the case of Wayne, who technically freestyled all of his songs since he didn't write his music. Okay, here are some songs I would recommend to the viewers who have never heard of Lil Snoop. Some of my favorite songs from Snoop are Mellow, Ketchup Freestyle, 18, and Meant to Be. Unfortunately, there has not been any unreleased music from Snoop that was released after his death. I do think that Snoop would have developed and continued to grow as an artist. Let's talk about how his death should have never happened and how unfortunate it is. On June 20th, 2013, Lil Snoop was shot twice in the chest.
The investigation on Snoop's case was done poorly.
He was shot and killed over an argument during a game of NBA 2K. Yes, a video game dispute is what led to Snoop losing his life. Both of the people who were responsible for the death of Lil Snoop were arrested. It's really sad that Lil Snoop lost his life over a 2K game. Finally, let's talk about a rapper who may be controversial for this video. youngpappy. youngpappy is a rapper that many people are not familiar with. A rapper who was well known in the Chicago drill scene for good and bad reasons. Daquan Thomas, aka youngpappy, born on May 10, 1995, could have been a one-of-a-kind rapper, but all of that fell short at the age of 20. youngpappy, who was known for his high-energy drill rap, was quickly blowing up in 2014. youngpappy's most popular song at the time was Killer, which honestly caught many people off guard. The way I would describe youngpappy's music to someone who has never heard of him is evil. Now, I'm sure evil is quite the terminology to use, but let me explain. The song Killer is so high energy, loud, and Poppy's voice sounds so aggressive that it's frightening. Especially with the visuals to Killer, you can see how energetic Poppy is, which makes the listener feel the same way. Checking out his numbers on Spotify, he is averaging around 200,000 plus listeners monthly, which isn't too bad. Here are some songs that I would recommend for first-time listeners. Killer, Savages, Benito, Night After Night, and 2 Cups. youngpappy released 2 mixtapes, with one more mixtape being released after he passed, which contains songs that did not make the first 2 mixtapes. The mixtape titled 2 Cups started taking over the Chicago scene, YouTube, Spinrilla, and my mixtapes. One thing that separated Poppy from other Chicago drill artists was the lyricism. Most Chicago drill artists focus on the production and name dropping, which was more to generate hype and even violence. However, youngpappy could do all of that while having great wordplay along with it. How could I forget? youngpappy was referred to as the King of the North Pole. Now, I know if this video reaches the Chicago crowd, let me say first and foremost, I would not be bringing up any gang or discussing gang violence. Yes, while youngpappy was a victim of gang violence, it is not my job, nor do I want to glorify or benefit off the violence. I am not DJ Academics, so I'm not going to speak on the Chicago gang violence. Though I think that youngpappy would have been one of the biggest names in Chicago and possibly in hip-hop. Yes, I do, because of the style that Poppy had. I do not believe there was a rapper in Chicago or in general who brought this much energy to drill music. One of the biggest issues with hip-hop is that artists make themselves seem too cool to have fun with the music. Yes, I know we have Chief Keef, who is the face of Chicago drill music, but I do believe that Poppy would have been up there as well, given if he lived long enough. Unfortunately, on May 29, 2015, youngpappy was shot and killed at 20 years old. It is unfortunate that another Chicago rapper who has so much potential got gunned down at a young age. Let's have a quick yap about rappers that could have changed the scene that were not mentioned in this video. There are going to be comments asking why didn't you put Tupac, Biggie, Mac Miller, Juice WRLD, Pop Smoke, etc. in this video, and I do have an answer. I believe that some of them have already changed hip-hop and influenced the genre. Those artists being Pac and Biggie, which I don't think anyone can argue. It is almost impossible to say if Pac and Big were alive, would hip-hop be the way it is today. In my opinion, hip-hop would be drastically different because the top 5 would be very different. There may not be any drill music, melodic, rage rap, etc. Regarding Mac and Juice WRLD, I believe they already had their impact in the rap game. They were in the game long enough where they impacted the genre. I think in the case of Juice WRLD, he did not change hip-hop. I do think his melodic and sad music made him very popular. However, there were artists who made music regarding heartbreak and drug usage. Juice, in my opinion, filled the void that was left behind after X passed. Obviously, they did not share the same rap style, but in the case of feeling depressed over life and women, they both shared that. Even in the case of Mac Miller, when he would rap about his drug usage and the pain he faced. Pretty much what I'm saying is that it is impossible to know whether or not any artist could have changed hip-hop. All we can do is speculate on if they could have changed the genre. Let's think on that for a second. We have plenty of rappers who are alive, and can we say that many of them changed the genre? Also, what does changing hip-hop even look like? It is all subjective, so there is no correct answer. Regarding the 3 artists who I picked, I do believe they could have changed hip-hop if they lived long enough, mainly due to the fact that they were unique and had their own swag within rap. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I apologize that it is shorter than normal. There isn't much music released from these artists, which is why their parts are shorter. The point isn't to jump too much into their personal lives since we are talking about hip-hop. Let me know in the comment section if you think speakerknockerz, Lil Snoop, and youngpappy could have changed hip-hop. If not, who do you think would have changed hip-hop? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe, become a YouTube member, join the Discord, and I'll see you later, Space Cowboy.